Good evening on the Suffolk Ram.
Skazz.
Did you not know we were going live?
Man, that was quick.
Welcome to episode 250 of the Randers podcast.
Yeah, I knew it was 250 because I opened up the thing and it worked, and it told me that the last one was 200 and whatever came before 50.
That's 249, as we would call it in the decimal-based world that we live in.
You crazy number man, you.
I know.
How can you keep track of so many numbers? Like that's more than I've got.
People at work now think I'm a maths genius because I did some simple arithmetic. They were like,
Yeah,
okay,
they got phones and crayons.
They wanted an average, right? So
Yeah,
they took three prices.
Yeah.
And the total came to 12,323. And they wanted an average. And I piped up, said it's 4,108 approximately. And they were like, "What? You sure about this?" Yeah. And someone actually didn't believe me, got the phone and did a calculator. Of course, they got to the more exact figure, which was something like 4,107. Is like, oh yeah, he was near enough spot on there. And they're like, I didn't realize you were like a maths head. This is 12 divided by 3 is 4. 300 divided by 3 is 100. 23, which is nearly 24, divided by 3 is 8.
And they're all like, what?
Huh? Just split
How
it
did
up.
you do that without checking your phone, man?
Yeah. It's like, people just see a number and just split it up. I'm not a maths person. I'm not a maths whiz. I know enough to get by.
I don't know how to number.
No, I can't do anything advanced. I mean, I just about remember Pythagoras' theorem. That's about my sort of limit of sort of advanced maths that I remember.
Mate, let's just put all that in the bin. That's long past us now. We've got digital assistants. I know this because my children do that.
Wolfram
Hey, yo,
Alpha.
Siri, and I'm like, oh,
Good old Wolfram Alpha.
I'm like, oh my god.
I mean, to a certain extent, I sort of like accept that, like the basis of, well, yeah, you have got them, so you've got a tool, use the tool. But at the same time,
but when it makes you a complete dimwit.
But the important thing, I think, using a tool's fine. Knowing how to use the tool is important.
In the grand scheme, funny enough, we were just talking about this, about editing suites. And I don't like one-click tools, like proprietary one-click systems. It's like, if you know how it does that thing, it doesn't matter. And I think it's largely the same thing as what you're saying now, is that if you know how it works, it shouldn't be that intimidating.
No.
Like, you know the basis of how it works, so it doesn't matter that you use the tool, because you kind of know how it got to where it,
yeah,
you know the kind of path it took to get there. So
understanding the steps to how something's done is fine. I mean, but is I think important to know. But at the same time, don't worry about using a calculator to do those things. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, sure. Like, if you can break it down and you still have to use the calculator to do the broken down steps, great, because you've still done it.
What I want to do is I want to find all the teachers of the world who, before I left school, who told us you'll never have a calculator in your pocket at all times. They lied. So, I mean, to be fair, I'm not expecting these teachers to know the future, but at the same time, which is so hilarious, like, how wrong could they have been?
Well, come on, man. They must have known to a degree, though, because back in the 80s, we were pushing computers hardcore.
Yes, but
a computer in every home.
But the idea that you'd always have a calculator with you, because I think they saw a calculator was a tool that did one thing, so it's unlikely you carry it with you all the time, unless you're like some random. Whereas, but by the
same token, though, the idea being if there's a computer in every home, there's going to be a computer in every workplace. Then there's always going to be some form of calculator about.
People,
not necessarily. I've gone to the grocery store. Let's calculate how many whatevers I need to do whatever. All right, bit of a bizarre one, but generally speaking, with how computers were going, and I mean, even did Sinclair not come up with like a calculator watch at one point back in the 80s?
Yeah, calculator watches were around for a long time, but they were shit. I had a calculator watch once; it was shit.
So there you go. You've got at least a basic calculator.
So other calculator watches, it was crap at being a watch. That was the biggest.
And a calculator.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was like it was bad at both its primary jobs.
Yeah.
So,
which is kind of largely like most people now. I'll just get the AI to do it.
Yeah, get ChatGPT to answer the question.
Oh, mate,
I've noticed.
I've gone.
Have you noticed now that when you often Google stuff now, it'll do it. There'll be an AI thing at the start that will try and answer the question for you.
Don't. That drives me nuts.
I just ignore it.
And so many people go to me, but it's not that bad, man. The AI is just a tool. Yes, it is. But because look, I'm one of the guys that says, yeah, man, AI is going to take your jobs. And they're like, no, it's never going to happen. It will, but. So I think I've had this rant on podcast before, right? I think
so, yeah.
Big companies like money. And if they think AI can kind of do your job and save them a shite ton of money, they don't give a crap about the consequences in the future. They just see big bucket of money now, right? AI does your job. It does a semi-shit job, somewhat passable. They sack all of you. And then when the whole thing crumbles, they're like, fuck, we need people in to fix this. Then you'll probably get your job back. But probably not as many of you as you'd think.
I think AI, it is a tool, and it's a tool that can be used in a lot of useful ways. But at the same time, a lot of people don't seem to quite grasp its limitations. The amount of people who think ChatGPT is basically a search engine, when it isn't. It's a very advanced predictive text system.
Dude, I know some people who actually work in code, web dev, and they use ChatGPT to write their code.
I won't lie to you, Skazz. I've used ChatGPT and I'm not quite sure how to tackle this problem. I've asked ChatGPT, and it's bounced back code that, okay, it's not final, it's not brilliant, but
it works, but it's shit. It's shit code.
But it gets you in the general. If you're not quite sure how to approach a problem, it gets you in the general idea. So it doesn't mean you just use it for exactly what it produces there and then.
But that's not what people are doing.
No, exactly. That's the trouble. If you use exactly what it produces, you've missed the point of it. It's an aid rather than doing the job for you.
I said to one of my mates, I said, good job. The more you keep feeding it, I'm just saying, you're just giving your job away because your boss is gonna go, why am I paying you?
I think the big trick with code from ChatGPT is the important thing is knowing how to ask the questions to. How to give it you've got to be clear with exactly what you want it to do. And if you're clear with what you want it to do, it will produce you code that is close to what you want.
But then that's what one of my mates said. He said, oh yeah, don't worry, everyone will still have jobs in the future doing X, Y, Z, but they'll be like prompt authors or something like that. It's like, how ridiculous is that?
Well, it'll go one of two ways. It'll either be what you'll be expected to produce a lot more for what you're doing because you're talking to the AI doing the sort of heavy lifting. You'll be expected to produce a lot more. So you're writing, I don't know, 1,000 lines of code a day. You're expected to now write 3,000 lines of code a day because you've got the AI now to help you do the work. You're just sort of now you're there. So I did like what some people on the programming forums I follow said, people worry about AI and doing jobs. We'll be fine because until customers can write their requirements accurately, AI will never replace us.
Never gonna happen.
No.
Never gonna happen.
I mean, I was thinking,
and there's always someone higher up as well that's willing to cut corners to make it harder for you to do your job.
Yeah. I mean, I think
this is what the customer wants, and this is how I'm going to do it. Can you do that cheaper?
Yeah. I mean, I can see other things like AI just taking like some busy work out. So I was like editing our last podcast, and a lot of what I actually went through, and do you know what? I actually edited it. It was amazing. I didn't just top and tail it.
Holy shit! You took my job, Sam. What are you doing?
And it took me a while. And a lot of what I was doing was deleting, because obviously you're talking, you do a lot of like
yeah, you're doing basically what I did. You cut out dead space and then fixing up. And then did you do any slips to kind of make the conversation flow a bit better?
Yeah, and a lot of breaths and stuff. I thought actually this, because looking at the waveforms of the breaths and the arms, they're very similar. That's what I could spot them before I think. That is a perfect application for AI. If it could learn what they sound like, what they mean, and like when they don't sound like that. If I could hit by and say, do that, and it go through and pull it all out, that is a perfect application of AI. Because taking a very monotonous part of the job that is just repetitive and it's automating it, that is a brilliant use case of AI. And if I can find if I can find an airplane that would do that, marvelous. But that's the sort of stuff I can see AI being useful for, and it is going to replace people's jobs as very new technology.
Of course it will. Yeah. This has been happening time forever.
Yeah. I mean, look back at the Industrial Revolution. I mean, I was talking to my sister, and she was telling about a story how when the horse-drawn plough was developed, how people were attacking horse and stuff because the plough replaced what used to take 20 people.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd have one guy with a horse to do the job of several keys.
20 people.
It's the same. Think of it this way, all right? As a more modern thing for someone our age, this one should be obvious, but like we used to have butchers, greengrocers, and all that. Now you have supermarket on a retail park.
Yeah.
You don't go to those individual shops anymore because they don't fucking exist.
And I'm going to tell you something that will shock younger listeners. There used to be the thing which we used to call the high street, and down the high street you wouldn't have just Starbucks.
Yeah, there was like loads of different shops, man.
You'd have like a shop that sold books, and a shop that.
You guys probably don't actually know what that is, but
the books are like
it's kind of like a Kindle, but it's like paper.
Yes, you had shops that.
If you don't know what that is, it's like trees.
Yeah, trees and
if you don't know what they are, we've gone
really
too
flat
far.
Trees. It's paper. Yeah. really, really flat trees and lots of them.
And it's more than you get more than one page out of a tree. By the way, you don't just go squish the tree and there you go. You got your book.
Yeah, but why
would you buy a wooden Kindle?
But yeah, Amazon, and internet in general, but Amazon large time has basically destroyed the high street.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I first said to you last year, I had to go into town to get my driving license renewed. I had to go to a post office to do it because you can't do it online unless you have a current passport. You've got a passport, but it's expired because somehow I've changed.
Mate, in fairness though, when I found my passport, and I must have only been like 9.
Yeah. I went. So I had to go into the high streets to get a driving license done. I walked down. So the first I've been into our town centre in about 4 or 5 years, definitely. And I walked around. I was like, where the fuck is everything? There's a Starbucks. There's an opticians. There's plenty of mobile phone repair shops.
By the way.
Yeah, some opticians. Plenty of mobile phone repair shops, but there's nothing else here. It's just dead.
Yeah, don't it surprise you though when you see some of those units that used to be are now like 2 separate shops?
Yes.
And you're like, what's going on? Like I say, 2 separate shops, 2 separate retail units that are available for rent that no one can afford.
I wanted to go into B&M and I saw they had a really cheap bottle of Lamb's Navy rum for sales. I bought that. I did feel quite self-conscious of buying that at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Nah, mate, it's normal in this town.
No, you'd be surprised the looks I got when I purchased that.
Oh, I don't know.
Some exciting news. I had a letter from my door the other day.
Letter?
From Suffolk and Norfolk Constabulary. They sent me my new
What did you do?
They sent me my new
What did I do?
They sent me my new shotgun license through without any inspection. I was amazed.
What? With that photo?
Yeah. Normally, I get.
Wow.
I've never had a license renewed without an inspection. And this is rather exciting because I have a musket. I have a license to acquire and keep explosive black powder, and normally it's like a kilo, right? Which is a kilo of black powder is loads. That'll keep me going probably for years, right? My new license, I don't know if it's a typo. I've been authorised to carry 15 kilos of gunpowder.
Oh, mate!
It's like that's a lot of gunpowder. That's
Suffolk Ram, Lowestoft's black powder dealer.
Yeah, apparently so. It's like,
is this for personal use?
I'm licensed. You guys licensed me.
It's 15 kilos for personal use, mate. Fucking hell!
I don't need just. I've got a license. They can't do anything.
That's it.
I've got a bit of paper that says I can handle this much gunpowder.
That is. Unless they find out it's a typo. What'd you give him 15 fucking kilos for?
I've got it in black and white. I'm sorry. It's on like a sort of a beige colour bit of paper that comes on.
Just imagine them trying to take that off you and you're standing like waving it above their heads. Nope, mine.
But do you have 15
I've got
kilos?
copies.
Yeah. Do you have 15 kilos of gunpowder? No. Are you going to get 15 kilos? No. But I've got the ability to. That's what
I
I'm
wouldn't
not.
even know where I put 15 kilos of black powder.
I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't know either. Well, I don't know. I haven't got anywhere to put that much more because you have to. You can't just like put it. You have to store in a certain way. You can't.
Oh yeah, because I was thinking about because we used to buy like 5 kilos of sugar at a time.
Yeah.
My wife would just buy that fucking and they're big ass bags, man.
Yeah, but
what the fuck would you do with 15 kilos of boom powder?
A box of fireworks, like like a normal sized box of fireworks, it's probably got 30 or 40 grams of gunpowder in it.
See?
And I'm gonna have 50.
So one of my mates, right, this is going back a long time, but you know those like cake launchers you get for fireworks, where it's like 50 fireworks in a string. He put one of those in a phone box once. Ram's got like enough to make that phone box disappear.
I have. Well, I can have. More. I can have enough to make it disappear because gunpowder is very expensive.
Yeah.
It's about. I think last time I looked, it's about £40 a kilo. It's quite expensive.
But is it? Oh, what? So you're only licensed to buy it? You can't.
I can hold it. I can't.
You know what I'm saying? Could you start making?
Oh, making gunpowder is actually very tricky. I mean, it's obviously doable, but it's quite tricky. Although I've got a license to keep, not to manufacture.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I would imagine that's probably got another 10 licenses to have.
Get it done, son. You could be Lost Off's black powder dealer.
Well, that'd be a very niche market.
I'll take some. Could you imagine? Like, I'll go for my license. Yeah, you ain't having that.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what the limits. I mean, I feel like part of me wants to get 15 kilos of gunpowder and just like start. Once they've ploughed one in the field, just start blowing holes in the field or something.
Like, what can you do with 15 kilos? And that's what Ram's going to do. He's going to do a video series. It's going to be called the 15 kilo series. Yeah. It's like, what can you do with 15 kilos of black powder?
Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I bought 15 kilos of gunpowder. Let's see guess what I'm going to do with it next. Now, before we move on, let me talk about NordVPN and Squarespace.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need a VPN.
Yeah,
I need to
have a thumbnail which, for some inexplicable reason, always features my face. Have you noticed that all thumbnails it has the main person, yes, their mouth open, and apparently research has been found that having a mouth open on a thumbnail increases your click-through rate.
That sounds so.
I want to know why. Why?
1 second to Pornhub we go. Oh yeah, I really want to watch that.
Oh, let me try to do a thumbnail. You can't see this, but the viewers at home wants this.
For the audio viewers, and the video listeners,
yes, you'll have a very small picture of that. One day I will start doing thumbnails for our podcast.
And they're going to have a very small picture of that. Well, yeah, what can I say? I'm not doing very well in that department.
Yeah, sorry, my macro lens.
Don't worry, it is to scale.
So I've bought myself a macro lens.
Oh, mate, you need more than that.
Yeah.
Splat on the front of the space telescope, and they're like, "What? Is that pube? I don't know. A smear on the lens."
So what have you been up to then, Skazz?
Well, other than smearing my genitalia over a space telescope, I haven't done that yet. Maybe one day.
Are you the one who broke Hubble when it broke that time?
Yeah, they were trying to help me find it. Guys, I need to pee. I lost my tweezers. Help me.
When you're flying out to go stand in front of the James Webb.
It's like, guys, I can't find it. Come on.
Mr. Skazz, we can inform that we have found it. Unfortunately, you're at a point of the space we can't get to anymore. We can get you there. We can't get you home very easily. So you're kind of stuck there.
Oh, mate, no.
Now, if you're very careful, you sort of aim to throw your hat in the right direction, you may eventually slingshot your way back, but it will take a few million years. But we look forward to seeing you then. Just make sure you don't aim the re-entry too shallow, or you'll burn up.
I'm fine with that. I'll take that. Bless them. They try.
Yeah.
They try. That's what majority of their budget is, helping me piss.
Just make sure it's not a Boeing craft that takes you up there. Otherwise you'll be stranded.
No, thank you.
Imagine the overtime fees those astronauts are getting at the moment.
Oh,
they only meant to be up there a week, and I think they've been up there, 9 months?
They think themselves, fuck that, I ain't coming down there. Not on that.
Do you know they're now being brought back by a SpaceX capsule?
Oh, really?
Yep, NASA said we're going to get SpaceX to bring them back. How embarrassing it must be to work for Boeing right now. It's like, we got them up there. We didn't kill them on the way up, which is a bonus.
That's a surprise.
But we're not sure. We're not convinced we can't kill them on the way down. So, fortunately, our biggest rivals, who we've badmouthed numerous times, are going to sort out for us.
Good job.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have got Dread Pirate Bezos up there, couldn't they, with his space dick?
Yeah, I think that's found a misery.
Does he do anything anymore?
I think he's pretty much given up on that. Blue Origin.
Call.
Blue Origin. I think he's pretty much given up on that.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. Leave it to the crazy guy that spent lots of money on Twitter just so he can say what he wants on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's the only bad part about SpaceX, is the fact that Elon Musk is involved with it. SpaceX
fair,
is a company
it's fucking genius. The guy's like, yeah, you can't ban me from Twitter if I own it.
Yeah, and when
I can tell the fuck ever I want.
Did you see that he's suing all the advertisers now for not advertising on Twitter?
Fair. I mean, but then I'm going to throw out there, Elon, my boy, I'm pretty sure you're watching. Yeah. Twitter is a fucking dumpster fire, or X, or what the fuck ever you want to call it. The adverts are obnoxious. Was it For You feed, or the algorithmically curated feed? Fucking shove that up your ass and stop sending me notifications for shit I have no interest in.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of fuck's sake. Oh, and Google, do me a favor, because Google, there's actually a menu you can click when you see an advert on Google. You can find out why you got that advert. Like what?
I don't want to know.
No, I'm fucking flat out. It was a.
No, I don't want to know why it gives me my adverts.
yeah, you don't want to know, right? It was I think it was a sex toy company. I don't know. It might have been a lingerie company. I don't know. That one, them. And I was like, what the fuck am I getting this advert for? I'm like on a fucking car YouTube channel or some shit like that. Like, what the fuck are you giving me this for? And I was like, what is this advert displaying for? Reason. You're in the UK and it's around midnight. I was like,
Explain to me then why I got a Love Honey advert this morning at 7 o'clock.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Because the first time I saw it, it's that woman who goes, I've just got my free Love Honey toy, and you can too. I'm like, what the fuck is Love Honey? I don't know.
I'll take two.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Skazz has signed up for his free toy voice and email addresses. He's got about 50,000 of them.
Exactly.
I've
got Raspberry Pi that's just cycling email addresses to get my free
His
Love
whole
Honey
house
toys.
will soon be full of dildos.
Yeah. Check it out. My wall of dicks.
Yeah. But I was like, why are you advertising this to me? And then so we've got that. I keep going. That's one thing I get advertising for. I keep getting adverts for gambling sites constantly.
I've had a few. Do you know what the ones that really fuck me off? The ones that are clearly like scams. Like, this random engineer is disrupting whatever billion-pound industry.
Yes.
After working for this company for a bajillion years, he decided he was fucking sick of it, and so he made this world-changing product that will save bajillions of lives, or some shit like that. The glasses that you can adjust yourself so you never have to go and have your eyes tested anymore. The thing that can break you out of a fucking car if you roll your car because there's a fault in the glass or some shit. It's like, nah, mate, it's by design. It's been like that for years. Take your AI-peddled ad shit and shove it up your ass. Give me more Love Honey ads, though.
Yeah.
Look, at least it's got a real lassie on it. I'll take that.
Or I'm getting BetterHelp, which I don't think is... I think Google's trying to tell me something.
Well, now that you got 15 fucking K's of black powder, he needs better.
Better make sure he's sound of mind. Let's get him on BetterHelp and make sure he's not some maniac.
Don't check out any of these podcasts because otherwise Ram might lose his license. Is he sound of mind? Oh, I've heard some of them podcasts he's on. Nah, mate. How many kilos of black powder did you give him? 15.
I mean,
I'd give him fucking 15 grams.
I think, given by current standards, from what I see of like how badly equipped things like the Russians are these days, and like North Korea equipped, I think 15 kilos is enough for me to start a small dictatorship.
I was going to say, mate. That sounds like, yeah. Did you say 15 kilograms? And they're like, yeah. Mate, you were supposed to give him 15 fucking grams. What you doing?
Oh, I put the K there in error.
Oh, shit. I thought you meant... Wait, what?
He's going to start a nuclear weapons program next.
I can't wait. Nictopia 7.
Speaking of Nictopia 7.
Yeah, go for it, mate.
Wow.
You go first. You asked me, but you go first.
Well, have you been up to anything?
I have.
Go on.
I have. But I don't think it'd interest anyone, to be honest with you, because it's PlayStation 1 related.
No, PlayStation 1 is fine. Go on.
I might be a bit weird in this, right? I love driving, right? Or more the journey between A and B. So it's really A and C. I like the B bit. I like going places. Yeah. Not so interested in getting there. If you remember back in the day when we were in college, I used to literally get up in the morning or after college. I would ride from Lowestoft to random places in the country, get there, and then just ride back.
He did,
because I just used to like enjoy riding my bike. But I don't like cars. Like most people know this about me. Oh, I love cars, but I don't like driving. Right. So I like riding bikes. I don't like driving cars because I find them they're boring. Right? Driving a car is boring. You're sheltered. There's really in a modern car as well. There's no feeling. They're pretty fucking numb, and you're stuck in traffic a lot of the time. They're expensive to run. It's just dull. It's numb.
I'll buy you a Ford Model T. You won't find that boring.
Oh, thanks, man. Like all the different gears I have to go through to get it to go forward. Break my wrist as I'm trying to crank it.
It's got 2 gears, like creeping along and bloody fast.
Yeah, see, that's what I want.
Well, bloody fast with a vehicle that's on wooden wheels.
Yeah, like you're gonna die. Yeah. But I find them really so. But then a bike, I don't. I can filter. It's a bit more fun. It's fun, more fun in the twisties and that. However, I would never race a bike. I say as I own a race bike for track days, right? But I don't like it. I've had a couple of people I know have been really fucked up on track days.
Yeah.
Right. So, the idea of losing traction on my bike at any point is just enough to make your ass just spill out over the floor. Not a fan. I love riding a bike. I don't like racing them. Cars. I don't like driving them, but fuck, man, the idea of racing one of those motherfuckers, I love it. Right? It doesn't even have to be a fast car. Like the idea of spanking a car around a corner, losing a bit of grip on the back end, watching it slip out, and then having to correct it. Love that. Yes, you can do that on a bike, but my gods, if that thing regains grip, if physics isn't on your side and you regain grip too hard, too fast at the wrong time, you're going over there and the bike ain't going with you.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of racing cars, and all right. I haven't had access to all my gear, but I have had access to a smartphone, which has recently had access to a PlayStation emulator or a RetroArch and emulation setup. I had my PlayStation Vita TV, which I mentioned last podcast, and some other little bits. And I thought, you know what? I haven't played this game since I was a fucking kid. Gran Turismo.
Oh, bloody hell, that's a blast from the past. They're still making Gran Turismo games.
Yeah, 7th one came out a couple of years ago. But there's more than 7 games. Well, because there's like Gran Turismo 1, Gran Turismo 2, Gran Turismo 3, Gran Turismo 4. Then went 5 Prologue, 5, 6 Sport. And then like you'd have like a different kind of offshoots to the thing. But there's quite a few. But they're like 7 of the like mainline titles. Trouble is, Gran Turismo has currently gone through a bit of a modern day gaming thing. They've focused on loads of pretty and microtransactions.
Oh, good.
Which kind of...
You're currently in second place. Pay £1 to get to first place.
It's pretty... So the groove with Gran Turismo was... So way back in the day, it wasn't even so much... It was called the racing simulator or the real driving simulator. There's nothing real about the physics in that game, like, at all, right? But compared to what else was out there, like Mario Kart, it was pretty rad.
To be fair, they did try.
Polyphony put in a lot of work to make that game as it was, man. It was, for the time, it was absolutely fantastic.
They were limited by the engine.
Yeah, I mean, it was a completely new thing at the time. Yeah. 3D cars, all from actual brands, all licensed, a decent soundtrack on a system that no one believed would exist at that price point. In every home kind of thing. The idea as well that you're not using a wheel or anything. So, they're trying to have a real driving simulator on a pad with like your throttle on or off. No kind of finesse in that motherfucker. You're either hard on the brakes or you're not at all. It was pretty amazing for the time, but you didn't even necessarily race other people. It did have, it had a 2-player mode, but what most people got from Gran Turismo 1 was car collecting. Because you had several dealerships in the game. You had several events. So you had like the Gran Turismo kind of cup where you'd have different classes of races. You'd even have like special events where, I don't know, you want to have British and American cars. It's British versus American. Japanese rear-wheel drive cars, the hot hatch things, and all that, like that kind of thing. You'd pick a specific class of car, and you'd have a little cup based around that. It was neat that you'd have a driver's license. So each of those cups had a driver's license attached to it. The game wouldn't let you fucking play unless you proved you could drive. Right? So it would start off with the B license. Billy Bob Basic, can you accelerate, get to this point, and brake and stop before the time runs out? And then depending on how well you do it, we'll give you a fucking trophy. And then depending on what kind of trophy you get, you might get some cash or a car or something like that. Cornering. Here's how you corner. Can you get around here within a certain period of time? If you do, have a trophy. Can you do a fast lap? Have a trophy, that kind of thing. Eventually you get a license. The challenges get harder. You get better licenses, which unlock more cups and more events that you can take part in. For the time, it was really fucking cool. It wasn't just like Mario Kart. You pick a class, 50, 100, 150. You pick a kart. You pick a cup, and then you just go through the cup. Gran Turismo was you get your driver's license, or you practice until you get your...
I think, to be fair, I don't think Mario Kart was intending to be a...
Well, no, but the idea being that there wasn't really anything else to do. You got to remember, this was the peak. Mario Kart was the thing. That was what you had checkpoint races like Outrun, where you go down the arcade, you put a quid in the machine, and can you get from point A to point B and get across that checkpoint to get more time? Can you complete the stage kind of thing? That was it. Right? Gran Turismo comes along and completely changes it. You have to get a driver's license. Once you get a driver's license, you unlock more cups. If you win the cups, you get money. You get to buy cars to drive in these different different tournaments and these different cups. You get to tweak the car, so you get to customize the car how you like it, changing the engine, the suspension, gear ratios, all that. You can do all of that in Gran Turismo. You can set up a dream garage of cars and go thrashing around all these different tracks and stomping the frankly not great AI. It was just so cool for the time. And I think it was actually one of the biggest selling games on PlayStation 1 ever. It's either that or Final Fantasy 7 or something like that. It's up there as highest selling PlayStation game of all time. absolutely fucking phenomenal. And it's, to be honest with you, it's aged brilliantly. I think. It's aged, like, for what it is, it's aged really, really, really well. The UI is a bit shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, because it's obviously PlayStation 1, you can go spanking around a corner really fast, and all of a sudden you're like, because you know what, like, things are moving really quick. It's really blurry, really pixely. And all of a sudden the corner comes out of nowhere. It's like the next corner is like slightly like down a bit. And all of a sudden you kind of see it pop in, render in. It's absolutely nuts. But it's for what it is, it's really, really, really fun. And a lot of people go, yeah, my favorite Gran Turismo is like Gran Turismo 2. I have a very distinct memory of Gran Turismo 2, and it wasn't even playing it. All right. Most of my time was put in Gran Turismo 1, collecting all the cars and doing all that, and racing with my mate Ren, and the TV show Games World, if anyone remembers that. Was it the Temple of Inkadinkadu? Guru Larry Bundy was one of the contestants on there, and they had videators who you'd. Well, either way, the memory of Gran Turismo was when Gran Turismo 2 comes out. There was a hairdresser, a barber, in town, and him and his mate. It was only a young bloke. He'd probably established this place in like '95 or something. So it's not a really, really old place. Although I say that now, thinking, "Fuck, I'm old." '95 was a long time ago.
No,
this
95
bloke,
was only about 10 years ago.
Yeah, sometimes it feels like it, but
do you want a scary
this
thought?
bloke.
Scary thought.
Go on.
If they made Back to the Future now, it'd be set in 1994.
Fucking hell. We're old, man.
Yeah.
We are ancient as fuck.
Yeah.
What car would they pick, though? Because obviously the DeLorean would have been fucking... Would they still, do you reckon they still use a DeLorean?
No. If they actually did a reboot, what would be the most inappropriate car for Hollywood to pick? It'd be something like Hollywood like get sponsorship from like Ferrari or Lamborghini or something, wouldn't they? Or Porsche. It'd be a fucking Porsche, wouldn't it?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Could you imagine using a Tesla for Back to the Future? The reboot of Back to the Future?
Tesla. Now that'd be hilarious because when he gets struck by lightning, the batteries would catch fire.
Just explodes instead of the fire behind the car. It just fucking explodes in the street.
That's how they. That actually could be. That's actually could be like things. He goes back in time with the Tesla, and he needs like a load of lithium batteries because they caught fire. So he had to put them out, but the batteries all ruined. So he needs to find a load of like modern lithium batteries in 1994.
That'd be fucking fantastic.
Of course, you do realise he'd be introducing. Like Back to the Future, he introduces like rock and roll to the world.
Yeah.
He'd be introducing rap music to the world.
Oh. Well, I don't know.
So that was all when it's all like started kicking off big, was it all late middle 90s when it's all like started kicking off, wasn't it?
Yeah. Late 80s, early 90s, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pretty hardcore rap albums out there, I think. Not really my kind of groove, but Yeah. No, thank you. You can keep that version of Back to the Future, Hollywood. Keep it. Don't.
They'll reboot it. You wait.
Yeah, probably, and I'll be fucking miserable when they do. You're already miserable. Anyway, this bloke tells me, or he's talking to one of his mates. I'm there waiting to get me skull buzzed, and the bloke's there talking about it, Gran Turismo 2. So, oh mate, it's fucking great. There's like loads more licenses, loads of new cars, and I'm thinking to myself, but this is all stuff we were doing in Gran Turismo 1, man. Gran Turismo 1's like fucking amazing. Why would I want GT2? A lot of people, GT2 is their favorite, but just, I don't know. There's just something about Gran Turismo 1. I just absolutely fucking loved it. Absolutely loved it. I've got a lot of the Gran Turismo games. In fact, I'm actually sat next to a stack of the damn things. But actually, what was it? We've got 5 Prologue, 5, and 6. Hang on, just to prove a point. Here you go, Ram. Here's Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. Well, this ain't my original copy. This is one we got from CEX for £1. If you want to know where my original copy is, it's in that door, just that one.
Right
there. It's up there. It's up in the loft. So I still got it, but we've got another one. So hey, Gran Turismo, so good. But just man, GT1's amazing. For the time, it was just amazing. So good.
Yeah.
It looked good. It sounded good. The fucking brake to drift, so fun. And for the time, it felt real.
Yeah.
And you get to buy cars that you could never ever dream of having in real life. Just oh man, it's just so good. Just the idea of just buying a banger car, souping it up and just thrashing around the tracks is so fucking fun. Although I will say, can we have more slower cars in racing games, please? Might sound
what's
really
your
weird.
thoughts on? So you talk about racing cars in general and so forth. What's your thought on Rally? Because Rally's my preferred racing
Rally?
games.
Yeah, mate. Fucking Rally's brutal. I remember watching when I was a kid. We used to watch. Oh god, what was the Class B?
Sounds right. Yeah.
With the fucking Quattro just like fucking spanking around.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man! Like the insanity. Absolute fucking insanity. There was a rally game on PC I remember playing a lot as a kid.
Not the Colin McRae rallies, is it?
No, I don't think it was Colin McRae. No, it was before that, because Dirt is Colin McRae.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, it is in a way.
No, it is. It is. It started out as Colin McRae.
Oh, so that's what they renamed it to, was it?
Yeah, Colin, so it used to be Colin McRae's Dirt. Yeah, it was Colin McRae's Dirt. Hang on. Funny enough, I've got a copy down here, but I can't find it. I can't find it, Ram. Where is it? Where the fuck is...
I am going to suggest a game for us to do on Games Night. And I'm going to suggest... There's Dirt. Yeah, Colin McRae's Dirt. And I'm going to suggest Mud Runners.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, which is sort of the off-roady, sort of exploring. You've got to like go pick up logs and stuff and transport them and stuff. It has sort of a Euro Truck vibes around it.
Sure.
So I'm going to suggest that as a possible Games Night game.
I'm going to throw out there. Racing games are racing games are a genre where I was like, oh yeah, mate, fucking, I'll never play racing games or like. But I can remember saying that years ago about fighting games, and then I fired up my Xbox 360 to find it was loaded with fucking fighting games. Think about the most played games I had on PS2 were fighting games. Some of my most played games on PlayStation 1 were racing games. In fact, actually, when I got my first PlayStation, it was bought with 5 racing games. And initially I was like, ugh, that's kind of lame. But some of those actually, was it Tokatoran Cars, Colin McRae Rally, there was an F1 game. Look, I played those games to fucking death. I have that thing where occasionally I'm like, yeah, that game's kind of shit. Look, that's not my kind of thing. I fucking love them.
Yeah. when we got the PS2 back in the day, me and my sister, we both got. This is how terrible it was. When we first got the PS2, they'd run out of memory cards. So we didn't have a memory card in a PS1 memory card that worked in it, but also you couldn't save PS2 games for a while. We couldn't save our PS2 games. Sure. But we had a launch, obviously, a launch day. We bought a game each for launch. And I picked Time Splitters.
Yep.
And she picked Wild Wild Racing. We bought loads of PS1 games prior to the beginning of the PS2 as well, because obviously it was backwards compatible PS1.
Yeah.
So we had like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, loads of PS. I got Metal Gear Solid. Basically, I looked at the back book for all like the top 10 games like they rated for like the PlayStation. We bought all of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, she bought Wild Wild Racing, and Wild Wild Racing was, in hindsight, wasn't great, but it was like our first little taste of racing games. It's like you could do like, and you could unlock some insane things on it and go off roading and all sorts on it. It was pretty. As far as I'm aware, they never ever made any sort of sequel or follow-up to it. And as far as I'm aware, that's never happened. It was a one-off, but it was a neat little game and playing around with things. I was, of course, obviously PlayStation had the analog controls. 2 had analog controls.
Later, but when the DualShock came out, the original didn't.
No, the PS2 had. Sorry, I'm talking about PS2.
Yeah,
sorry.
PS2 did. Yeah,
I'm talking about PS. Sorry, I should have just said. I'm talking about PS2. Had analog controls. So obviously, Wild Racing was like sort of showcasing that because you could like sort of feather the accelerator and stuff on it and so forth.
Yeah, analog face. Yeah.
Never found particularly useful, but yeah, we played quite a lot of that, and Yeah, it was great times. But I never got into Gran Turismo. I borrowed a copy of Gran Turismo 3, which I think was a PS2 version
Yeah, PS2, yeah. A-spec.
A friend of mine had it, and he unlocked everything and like zooped because you could upgrade the cars and stuff and all that. So he'd done all that, and he brought it around with his memory card once. We played it, and I'm not very good at racing games. I'm shit at racing games. And
to be fair, I am too, actually. But
and we played it, and the first time he's like, just it was slightly trolling because he didn't really give me any advice. He just said, just pick a car you like the look of. It's like, well, I don't know what any of these do, so I just picked a car, and he then knew what to pick specifically against me, and we raced, and obviously he like lapped me about 3 times, and so forth. So next game I played, I picked like the fast car. We did like 1 lap, and I was like speeding along like this dirt track, absolutely losing control. I ended up getting stuck just before the finish, and he was like in the really slow cars. He eventually, I was so busy trying to get out, turn around, and get out of being stuck. He overtook me and run the game. I was so annoyed with him. I was sat on the floor. He was sat on a chair next to me. I pushed him out of the chair. That was how annoyed I was. Like, fuck's sake. The whole way as he went over, he was laughing the whole way, and he stayed laughing on the floor because he thought he was hilarious.
Oh, good times, man.
Oh, he did limit the game to try and get better. I never got very much better at it. I definitely even got like past basic cars.
See, that's the trick. Because when I first played Gran Turismo, actually, that was my mate's PlayStation. The first time I played PlayStation, it was my mate's console. I think I might have had N64 at the time. But my mate come round with he bought the whole fucking console around. It was like he got a new console. It was this new thing, and he brings it round to my house. He's like, "Yeah, man, check it out." And I was like, "Oh man," he's like, "I've got to go home." And I can't remember. Like he must have gone down to my living room to ask my parents if they could use the phone, because obviously this is before everyone had mobile phones. And he fucking speaks to his mum, and his mum says, "Yeah, just leave it there." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, man, just fucking keep going, keep playing. Like you're having fun, just keep going." I was like, "This is fucking nuts. I'm going to sit here and like play Gran Turismo and like fucking like Time Crisis and shit like that. It's fucking great."
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
So good times.
And I mean, you did the right thing actually, going back to like PlayStation 1 when you got your PlayStation 2, because like I was talking to the wife today actually, because obviously a lot of my collection has gone over the years. All the boxes went years ago. I still have a whole shit ton of boxed consoles somewhere, but like some of my favorites are gone. And my mum, funny enough, bought me not a box. Sorry, she bought me a PlayStation 3. I already own a PlayStation 3. We just don't know where the fuck it is. She bought me a PlayStation 3. And I was like, well, you know what? I could do with some games, because when the PlayStation 3 came out was not long after I had kids, and so I stopped buying a load of physical games. And because physical games and babies don't get on very well.
No.
And so having your games scraped across the floor with rust covered hands doesn't go well.
No.
At one point we did have a custom firmware PlayStation, so I could just like install games onto the PlayStation, which was fucking great. So you just put the disc in, hit the circle button twice, it copies the game to the PlayStation, you're good to go, right? You don't have to worry about breaking the disc because you put the disc somewhere else and you just play the game off the system. We get this PlayStation recent, and I go into CEX. I fucking hate CEX, but that's a story for another time. I look down the shelf, and like I say, like Gran Turismo, £1. That's a fucking bargain, mate. Red Dead Redemption, £3. All these other like really fucking cool games, like £1, £2, £3. Like, what a great thing to fucking do. The fact that these games are still fucking cheap, considering most retro stuff is like, you want to buy a game on the Super Nintendo, £500. Like, no, thank you. PS3 is still pretty fucking cheap. I was like, that's amazing. Couple generations old, you could literally buy a huge stack of games to play on your new system for pennies. Like the idea that you went and did that is fucking great. You probably picked up some proper belters for next to nothing.
Yeah. No, it was I mean, obviously, I sort of about at that point I'd moved to. By the time PS3 came out, I'd moved away from sort of.
You went PC
classes.
gamer,
I'd
yeah.
gone, yeah. I had some PS3 games, not many.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, I had a PC as well. I mean, I'd been a PC gamer since since the 90s. So I remember getting my first PC, Packard Bell in the mid 90s. Then obviously I got my own custom build.
Yeah.
Or I had custom builds when we were in college together.
Yeah.
And so I played a lot of games then. But I never liked Steam initially until I got kids.
No, I didn't like Steam. No, I wasn't a fan of Steam. I thought it was a bit silly, and like most people did. The idea of like having to have an always online thing to play a single player, everybody thought it was a bit silly, and got quite a lot of feedback. But what sold Steam to me, for you as kids, for me, I'd bought a game called it was one of the Heroes of Might and Magic games, but it was a source-based game.
Yeah.
And when you installed it, it installed Steam with it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that got on my tits, like playing Counter-Strike and stuff.
Well, I installed it with Steam and got that online and so forth. Installed it and so forth. And this is because that came out that I think was it actually I think it was Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. I think it was called. And I have a feeling that was the first Source game to be released because I think it came out before Half-Life. But it was a Source-based. I think that was the first Source-based game to be released. Like, the Half-Life version of Source. 2 version of Source. And got that. Installed Steam. I was going to ask you about some lighting.
Yeah, and that's as good as you're gonna get, mate.
So installed Steam, and I was like, okay, it's like fine. I just want to put up with and so forth. Where it sold myself is when I upgraded my PC and I installed Steam again because at this point I had a few games on Steam. When I installed it, it's like Dark Messiah Might Magic is located in my Steam library. Okay,
you can just hit the button and install it.
Yeah, I just double-clicked it and started stuff. What the fuck? That's brilliant. Like, the game shows my account, I can just install it now. I mean, that's what sold Steam to me, because I don't need the disc. And it just was like, this is amazing. And that's what sold Steam to me in the end. And, well, Steam is sort of like, these days, generally speaking, I have very few non-Steam games. Because it's just easy.
No, I agree with you. If I can find a game on Steam, I'd rather have it on Steam. I mean, I went fully digital on my consoles as well. Around when the Switch came out in 2017, I was just everything digital.
Let's be honest. Even if you buy physical games, you're buying digital games.
Yeah, and this is one of the arguments I've tried to say to people over the years who are like, yeah, but game preservation, digital's terrible, blah blah blah. I was like, let's be fair. Ever since the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, right, you've had to install games, you've had to download updates, you've had to download DLC.
Yep.
You don't own the game on the disc.
No.
You just don't.
The only thing the disc
gave you... The game you play now isn't the game that came out when it launched.
The only advantage the disc gave you was the fact that in a world where you had poor internet connections, it held the majority of the files you needed.
Yep.
But you and I remember the days of you saw. I mean, as I didn't do money costs because once I did, you put the disc in it, installed this, and then it had to download an update. And you'd be waiting half an hour for that to download an update.
Yep.
Because if you have to download the entire game, that's the only advantage discs had. But now, where fast, even a slow internet connection is quite fast. In these days, it's sort of like not necessary. And most of the discs are basically just a form of copy protection.
Yeah. That dude, they used to drive me nuts back in the day. Full install on PC, and then you'd have to go on to you'd have to find a no CD crack.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before Steam.
Oh yeah, that's what I used to do all the time. Because I don't want to faff around trying to find a CD for that random game. If I actually play that, now I need to go try and find the CD just to basically make the game run. So I always used to crack my games. Always.
Yeah, it was absolute bollocks. And that's what, because didn't Steam get done at one point for using a no CD crack on like Grand Theft Auto or something like that?
I don't think it was Steam
or like that was Rockstar or something. Like they included a hacked executable to get it to run.
And they actually used it from no CD crack. They didn't like make their own.
Yeah.
They actually that was I think that was someone like Rockstar. It was someone like that.
Yeah.
Got in trouble for it.
Those were the fucking days, man. Like, and again, for the old school collectors, bit rot is a thing. Disc rot is a thing.
Yeah.
This stuff ain't gonna last forever.
No.
You know what does last forever? A fucking download of it backed up on like 5 million hard drives.
I mean, I was thinking about this today. We are kind of reliant on Valve not being dicks when it comes to Steam. If Gabe Newell, bless his soul, and he never will die because, as we know, he's a divine being. But if he was to pass in this world, and someone like EA took over, we're fucked.
Yeah, don't say that.
You basically
health check now, please.
But basically, I want the game to be kept on some sort of life support system indefinitely, like the God Emperor of Mankind. He cannot die. If he dies, Valve is ruined. He needs to be kept on life.
Funny enough, I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube today about anime piracy. Like, but every single time someone talks about piracy, they always bring up that fucking quote by Gabe. You know, that piracy is effectively like a distribution issue.
Yeah.
You know, if you can provide a better service than what they'd get from piracy, they'll pay for it.
And Steam proved it. That was the whole point of Steam. He said that people will buy stuff on Steam if it's easy, and it is. It's 2 clicks. The only thing I hate about Steam is the fact you have to keep always agreeing to subscribe the agreement every single fucking time.
Yeah,
it's like I've literally just agreed to this 10 seconds ago. Just do it. And that's the only thing that's annoying with Steam. Other than that, it's easy. It's 3 clicks and you've got a game being downloaded.
Understand, all the game collectors out there, for fuck's sake, understand your physical discs, your physical whatevers mean shit. If it has to be patched, your disc means fuck all.
Yeah.
And they haven't meant anything since the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3
And
days.
let's be honest, a lot of discs phone home.
Yeah.
If the server you're trying to phone home to doesn't exist anymore,
you're fucked.
Yeah. You gotta hope somebody has made some hack that you can change some configuration files that phones home to somebody else. But you're on Xbox. That's really hard to do. You can't just access the directory like you can on a PC and edit a file.
You'd be surprised because the PS3 has got some pretty nice hacks on it. Like you can pretty much get the entire PlayStation 3 library for free at this point. I haven't done that to mine or this current system. But yeah, you can, and same with the PlayStation Vita and stuff. Dude, you just go to the web browser and it'll just hack the fucking thing.
The way to keep things preserved is distribution, keeping these things. Oh, he's being called.
He's ignoring it.
Good. Do not disturb. It's distribution. Basically, don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on a repository online of your games. Don't rely on one place keeping all the games as a repository.
Yeah.
Or they're one lawsuit away from disappearing.
Of course.
You rely on people who just constantly share and have it mirrored all over the world. And so it's a distributed system. So basically, they can't catch you all. They
say the internet never forgets, but that's not true, is it? You know, files do go missing.
The internet doesn't forget if it's a meme. But the trouble is, trouble is, what happens is if website A, supergameroms.com, okay, they become the big player. They have all the ones, they make an activity, make sure they have all the ROMs on there, everybody goes on, and basically what happens is, all the people go, well, just go to Super Game ROMs, they've got everything, there's no need to go anything else. But we're basically describing Steam here. And everybody goes to that site. What happens is, all the little other sites that also did it, they gradually died away because, well, everybody goes to Super Game ROMs, Mega Game ROMs. We don't really get much looking. We ain't got such a selection. People don't bother coming because we ain't got a big selection of Super Game ROMs. People don't bother coming to us, and gradually, well, we can't afford the serving anymore, so we shut down. And before we realise it, Super Game ROMs is the only site that's got everything on it.
Yeah.
And then someone gets a lawyer involved. And all of a sudden, Supergun gets took down by an injunction, and it's based in a country where they're accessible. Not like a random country where piracy is like free to get away with. And that's it; they're gone.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, it's gone completely from the internet. It's gone. So the internet, the idea of the internet not forgetting is correct as long as what you're trying to not forget is distributed and is spread around. And that's why things like news stories and stuff tend to get reposted and so forth. But even then, these days, people just post links to them. They don't copy and paste the news, so they post a link. And if that link gets destroyed, effectively all the things that linked to it are gone.
And you can't expect the Wayback Machine to hold everything, man.
No.
I mean, Internet Archive has got a lot of stuff. But again, their shit can go at some point, and it will.
Didn't Wayback Machine get caught up in legal stuff recently?
There's a lot of there are a lot of issues. I don't know specifically what you're now about to say, but there's a lot of things going on with Internet Archive where, so legally speaking, because they consider themselves a library, they're allowed to do certain things for a certain amount of time with certain files. But I think it's like every 10 years or something they have to reapply for that status.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, bye.
Yeah. I have a feeling there is something. It's either Wayback Machine Archive. There is some lawsuit that's gone on that basically says they have to remove certain stuff because they've backed up stuff that is being claimed. But I can't remember the full details. So
sure.
If I find it, I'll put it in the show notes. But I can't remember the full details.
If big company wants it to go the fuck away, it's going to go the fuck away.
Yeah.
And they won't even do it necessarily in the courtroom. They will just drown you in legal fees.
Yep. To the point where
that's how they got rid of, was it Lik-Sang? Do you remember Lik-Sang, the import company?
No, I do not.
Right, so before places like PlayAsia and that, there was a company called Lik-Sang. And so when I bought my PlayStation Portable, so many years ago, yeah, I'm that old, I bought my PlayStation Portable imported from Japan through Lik-Sang, right? Obviously, you pay them you'd pay a bit of a premium because they have to buy the console and then they ship it to you. But that's how I used to get some of my import stuff from Japan. Well, Sony were like, yeah, we don't like that, and they basically took Lik-Sang to court. But to stop it from being fair, they sued Lik-Sang like everywhere. So they got sued in America, they got sued in Europe, they got sued in Japan, they got sued in wherever. They couldn't afford to represent themselves in all of these different places.
Yeah.
So they couldn't even defend themselves. Or if they could defend themselves in one or two places, they couldn't defend themselves in the other places. So they'd get fucked either way, and then they had to fold.
Yeah.
They didn't even have a chance to defend themselves. For what reason Sony did them, my theory, and there probably is actually a reason out there somewhere, because Sony doesn't like resellers or some shit like that. My theory was that it was skewing their sales statistics, and Sony doesn't like that. So like if there's a console available in the UK, they want you to buy that UK version because they've got counts of how many are being sold. But if you're buying them in Japan, they're like, well, hang on a minute. Our market data says it's not selling at all in Europe, but there's shit tons of them coming out of Japan.
Let's be honest. Sony is a very
just Sony being wankers.
Sony is a very they really hate their consumers.
You're damn fucking right. Do you remember when they put that shit on CDs?
Yeah, the rootkits. Yeah, it's like somebody at Sony just. It's how every school has that teacher who just clearly hates children. You want to work with a teacher. That's the Sony. We are a company that basically makes things for consumers, but we fucking hate consumers. Yeah. We're going to make their lives miserable as much as we possibly can for no good reason. That's Sony. They just absolutely despise their people who buy their products. They A, despise them, B, think they know better than them. They think they'll go, well, we'll tell you what you need from a device. Even though all market research says different, we know best.
Yeah. Nintendo do that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's fucking, to be fair, some of these big companies, disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And I've had rants about all of them.
Yeah.
But it's at the point now where I'm cutting the nose off to spite my face,
Yeah, no.
If I want to engage in this hobby, I'm going to have to bend because all of these companies fucking suck.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
If not, then I can play Super Tux Kart for the rest of my life on like an old ThinkPad.
Yeah. Oh.
It's not if they do something wrong; it's when they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, even Valve, like games get pulled from Steam because they're like, "Nah, we can't have that. We're banning it." I've had a rant about was it Chaos Head that got pulled, and then everyone went "fuck you," and then I mean, even I emailed old Lord Gaben himself. I said, "Look, Gabe, mate, this is uncalled for. You've got games way worse than this on Steam already. What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
Thankfully, it got released. But yeah, look, every company does it. And it's not even usually management that does it. It's like some prick further down that's like, "No, I don't like that."
Yeah. Somebody go, "Oh, I don't like the look of that. Oh, I'm not sure.
That's not my kind of thing. Ban it."
Yeah.
Wasn't fucking the Sony's rootkits on their CDs meant that they couldn't actually have the compact disc logo on those CDs.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it was against the spec.
Yeah.
How fucking aggressive can you be?
And when they released the thing to remove it, actually just installed something else anyway. So
yeah, did it fucked up loads of people's computers, didn't it?
It basically made them. Well, people found vulnerabilities in it, so basically it opened up doorways towards computers where you could get viruses and stuff in.
Yep.
So
corporate.
Corporate.
Yeah, man. Sorry, Gran Turismo 1, fucking great. Corporations suck. And if anyone's curious what car I picked as my first car on this playthrough, it's a Toyota. Someone's going to go, "Oh, for fuck's sake, we know what this is going to be." Yeah, probably. It's the AE86. And someone's going, "You fucking weeb." Ram's probably not going to know. It's the main car of the manga Initial D, which is a Toge mountain racing manga and anime where the fucking kid's driving this clapped out Toyota down a mountain really fucking fast. It's just it's not a fast car at all. Why did I pick it? Fuck, mate, it was $6,000 and there was enough money left over for your starting cash for me to tweak it a bit. Fuck, that thing's slow, but I love it. We need more slow cars in racing games.
Yes.
Just saying. Because whilst it's great to have a car, you know, you put modern racing games, you buy a modern racing game, you end up in this fucking beautiful, like, supercar or whatever right at the fucking start. Turns on a penny, mate. Right? Fast as fuck. Sticks to fucking corners. It's not really all that fun. It's actually kind of boring once you're doing that. You know, unless you break the physics engine. Sometimes there's nothing quite like having not a completely clapped out old banger, but like something a little bit higher up where you get into the corner. It takes a little while to get there. The brakes are a bit spongy. It kind of rolls into the corner kind of thing. That's really fun.
Yeah.
That kind of thing's really fucking fun. And when you're belting it around a track with a bunch of other cars doing that, so fucking fun. But once you start to soup them up and they literally stick to a corner, it starts to lose a lot of the fun.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get what you mean.
It's just, we need more slow cars in games, please. Not super slow. But
I'll send an email.
Not quite Ford Model T.
I'll send an email.
But I think actually Gran Turismo's had one of those. Like, did you know those Steam cars?
Yeah.
There's actually been a race with those in it.
Steam cars were cool.
Yeah.
Do you know Volkswagen tried to develop a Steam engine for like a modern Steam engine for a car in like the early 2000s?
No.
Yeah. They basically, because there was a lot of Steam had a lot of advantages. It was high torque. It's basically with modern it would run on anything really: petrol, diesel, kerosene, nut oil, anything that was flammable would run on wood. And they basically developed an engine. Just doing some memory because it's a long time since I looked at it. It didn't get it's never sort of got much past the like research stage, but it would in theory be like it'd be instant start because it would like heat up. It was designed a way so it could heat up rapidly, very rapidly, so it wouldn't feel like any other type of vehicle.
So I just went nuclear car.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Ford tried to develop the idea of a nuclear car, the Ford nuclear one, and yeah, basically it's sort of like it's in start. You could run on anything really. So petrol's cheaper, put petrol in it, and it'll run on that. It was like it's like the estimate for the SP is like 130 brake horsepower, and its torque numbers were insane. But yeah, they actually were proposing the idea of actually going back to having the steam-based engine cars.
Yep, why not?
Yeah. Why not, indeed.
That's cool.
Well,
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Not that I actually legally drive, but you know.
He just illegally drives.
Sometimes.
Well, from steam-based cars to provocative.
Yeah, come on, Ram. Go for it. Let's go.
So, I'm still playing Empyrion Galactic Survivor. I've sunk about 50 hours into this game now, near enough.
Game of the year.
And I think last time we spoke, I was like in the process of like sort of building a spaceship. I was going to get some titanium so I could build a spaceship.
Big space car.
Yeah, so I did. I went to
space boat.
Yeah. So I went and I got to another planet. I managed to set myself up a base there. I managed to get myself a little hover vessel. So I go and I managed to build, and I built myself. The first spaceship wasn't what I built. It was a like blueprint they had on like in the game built in. It's called it's called the Black Star. It's like a little fighter, and I built it just basically to have something I could fly about. And
as you do.
So I managed to get everything I need for the titanium, what have you, if I needed for it. So I built it, hopped it, and when it was like sort of finally done. So the first time I tried to build it, I actually lied yesterday. I've managed to rage quit. No, I didn't rage quit then. I had to cheat a little bit. So I almost rage quit again because my hover vessel got stuck underwater, upside down underwater. So
you need one of those things from that engineer that's completely changing an industry.
Yeah, I do. Or as I call it, after trying to get it out, and I was like determined to try and get this out, and that included me actually going out like trying to dig a hole to sort of like dig my. I tried because
you must have really loved that little thing.
Well, I did because I wanted to like I tried to sort of like I basically like it was upside down in water, and I kept drowning, so I had to keep sort of like bobbing up. So I managed to like get a wedge on like a hill. So I tried to sort of like dig a hole and hope that like sort of like on one half, so like sort of roll over. It didn't work. And I was just like, I don't want to lose this vehicle. So I then discovered console commands, including the set position command. So I was able to, I only had to use a console command to like basically lift it out of the water so I could get it out. Because the only way I could save this vehicle was either that or like reload a save like 5 hours previous.
My only problem with console commands is once you start fucking around with the console, it's just really easy to just break the game.
Yeah. So I'm very careful.
Like all the temptation to break the game is.
Yeah. So I used it to basically get myself out of this hole because the reason it got over was it was glitched. It glitched itself over when it shouldn't have. That's why I felt okay using a console command because I'm fixing a glitch. I didn't because of the fall over. The game glitched. So I used that. That's what I used it for. And I've not touched the console really at all. There's lots of options on that I could and really like bypass huge chunks of the game. What that is, I could switch to creative mode and have access to infinite resources. I've not touched that.
Then at that point, what's the point?
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. That's all ruins the point. So I've not touched that. I've not done anything like that. I suppose if you want to just like design a spaceship, then creative mode makes sense. You want to just like design a build because anything you design, you can sort of save as a template and then have save later. But yeah, I managed to
sure. But I mean, like if the aim of the game is to play the game, not just build a spaceship, then
yeah. Well, I see like there's like I see like a sort of design mode, and then you go into your main game. It's like, okay, I now know what resource I need to get to that. I know what I need to mine and so forth. Because any ship you build, you can like set up and it'll tell you what resources you need to unlock it. So I managed to get the stuff I needed from it. I managed to build my so my first spaceship was a pre-made option, Black Star, and managed to have my first experience flying into space. So take off, and it's interesting actually because, like I say, I tried to design this game. I wanted to make something similar to this, and I was trying to make it in Unreal as well. And the issues that I had, they obviously had as well. And I feel quite nice to know that this, because it's a fairly big, it's an indie studio, but it's a fairly big team of people. Yeah. And I'm quite glad to know that they couldn't solve the problems either. with people a lot more experience. I mean, they've been developing this game for like a decade. They're developing this game for. It's been
I suppose the interesting thing is to see how they got around those issues that you had.
And the way they got around them is the way I would have to get around them. So basically, the trouble with Unreal, let's say you want to have a spaceship you can walk about on. If the ship's stationary, it's fine. Unreal can cope with you wandering about and so forth. If it moves and you want to move at the same time, it can't cope. It cannot figure out how to position you guys out, like jumping about and so forth. It can't figure it out. Particularly that ship then changes like orientation. It changes, like it rolls upside down, sideways.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and the game and Unreal has got the option to. By default, your characters in Unreal don't like rotate with them. You have to like program them to rotate. They're like sort of like almost disembodied, and always stay upright unless you program them in to do so. So I had a lot of trouble, and basically they solved this by you cannot leave your ships.
The world moves, not the ship.
No, that's not what they did. That's one option. That is one option you could do. Trouble is, planets are a problem because you have the same problem. You can't then have independent entities move around on a planet because the planets have got to try and move, and you get the same issue again. So that doesn't work. So what they did your ships, when you like get into your ship, you cannot. When you want to leave a ship, you can't leave it unless it's stationary. And when it's stationary, basically physics gets sort of disabled. So if your ship's at a funny angle and you leave your ship, it will probably stay at that funny angle, even though it doesn't make sense. If you get back into it, it'll then balance itself over. It's like physics just gets disabled temporarily. That's they fixed it. And it's a perfectly valid, because the engine can't cope with it. That's just what it is. That's a perfectly valid fix. So that's what you do. So you can't leave your spaceships unless they are stationary. That's including outer space and stuff. You have to come to a complete stop in stationary. But got my little black star, flew up into space, had a little fly around. So by default, you basically can only fly around like your local like planet, like moons around the planet. If you want to like move further than that, you need like a warp drive, and ships, small vessels, not the capital vessels, their warp drives can only do like in the same system. Capital ships can go system to system. But in the same system, your warp drive can only go to one planet. So the vessel I didn't have a warp drive on it. So I got back, I thought, okay, I've got to play around. Now I want to build my own one. And I had this cool idea in my head for this like double-decker ship and so forth. So I started constructing it, and I was a bit short of resources, so I used the most basic resource, which is carbon blocks. They're cheap, they're light, they're very light, which is nice. Have fuck all hit points, which is a problem. So I built my first ship, and there's a lot of math surprisingly for a ship, because it calculates like how much force you need to move and so forth. And I didn't have enough, because I built this like double-decker thing. It was really heavy. And I didn't have enough force. So I ended up putting lots of thrusters on mine. I sent Skazz a photo of my first spaceship. How would you describe my first spaceship, Skazz?
It was made out of thrusters.
It was basically, wasn't it? It's very much like a hedgehog.
Yes.
It was double-decker. You had like a lower like little cargo bay area. Because in my head, I thought what I was going to do was like, because basically what I'd done was with my first spaceship, I'd sort of flown around the local moons and had a look at them, see what they were like. And there's like an ice moon which gets down to like minus like 70 degrees Celsius. Well, also that's going to be a problem. That's like knowing that gets really hot. So it's like, okay, I need to sort of think of something that I can survive. And so I was under the impression that it'd be like your base, your ship would be like a sort of safe space for you to be in, so you'd be fine for the temperature stuff. Turns out it's not the case with small ships. It doesn't work like that. So you can't really have like holes and stuff you can go into. So it didn't really actually save me a lot. But after building my monstrosity and flying it around to a few places and doing a bit of mining and so forth, and grabbing some resources and flying back to my planet, and being shot at a few times, and realizing how easy, because there's like these like damaged drones and stuff, which are very easy to take out, but they do a lot of damage to your vessel very quickly, which is why the pictures I sent Skazz had lots of holes in them, because I'd been shot at by some drones.
Just a few.
Yeah. So I managed to sort of like get back. I thought, okay, so I redesigned it. To something a lot more sleeker. And I built this one Because at this point, I started getting quite a few more resources and so forth. So I managed to unlock a warp drive. So I had to put a warp drive into it so I could actually leave the system because there's lots of goodies nearby. There's like an asteroid field nearby, which has got billions of resources in it. It's just insane how much. Because you literally just find asteroid filled with one resource, and there's literally thousands of resources in it. It's amazing. So I need something that can ship back and forth. So I redesigned my vessel. I just basically dismantled my entire vessel, rebuilt it, made it a lot shorter and sleeker. Warp drive in the middle, all the engines clumped together, just loads of. One thing I unlocked this now I've got is what they call container controllers. So basically, how it works is you buy like a single box of container. So before that, you've got normal like cargo containers, which you basically they have a finite amount of space, and you can like add stuff to and so forth. With container controllers, you basically start off with one block that'll hold like 8,000 units. If you buy an extension, you can just, as long as it's adjacent to that block, it extends it basically counts as one container. So you can make these massive. I think it goes up to 320,000 units of space. Like a basic big car container holds 16,000. So I think you can get up to 320,000 is quite a jump.
Can I have some of those space, please?
Yeah, you'll need them. So I filled up my sort of cargo with these extensions. We managed to get a bit more space, and I was able to sort of get on board, fly off, and warp to the nearest asteroids. I was going to start my asteroids. Now, obviously, a bit of a problem because my character hasn't got great. It's still not great at resisting temperature problems. So I often have to go back to the ship to get warm up a little bit. Otherwise, I was going to die of hypothermia.
Ark Survival evolved all over again. Yeah. Hey, you're a bit cold.
yeah, but it takes a while to get cold. But I was like, I unlocked a drill, this drill as tool, which basically, whereas like normally, if you want to say like mine through some normal rocks, you have to like use your resource tool. It takes about 4 or 5 seconds to mine through it. The drill's like instant. It's literally like click it, it's gone. So drills is like if you want to do lots of resource mining, the drill's where it's at. Until you unlock, like you can get ship mounted versions. And obviously, mentioned last week, you can network, so you just link the drill yourself to the container, and then it just automatically straight into the container. So as long as there's a space, you can just drill.
Speaking of drills, kind of want to play Deep Rock Galactic again.
There's a new version of it, isn't there? There's a I can't remember. I don't know if it's DLC or like a sequel type thing. I can't remember the exact details, but yeah, we can retry Deep Rock Galactic.
I have to check that out. Yeah, boy.
But yeah, well, this is very Deep Rock Galactic because you're sort of like, and there's something like, there's a real atmosphere to like just being in this like asteroid field, and there's no one about, just you and your spaceship, and you're just drilling away. You get a bit cold. You turn around, you see your spaceship just floating, just hovering like in mid-air, mid-space, not mid-air because there's no air in space, but hovering in mid-space. You just sort of float back to something. There's something that really atmospheric, but you just feel like you're in the middle of nowhere all by yourself because you are. It's like, I could die out here. This could be really bad.
Because I love that. It makes you feel like it's like, because you are.
You can actually come across like other sort of like there's like a mining colony in the asteroid belt that I haven't gone and had a chat with yet, see what they're like. But I'm just sort of like stealing all the other resources where I can. So I basically started
very British of you.
Yeah, very British. Because basically, after building also my sort of like small vessel, my next goal is now I want to build a capital ship. And so I've been going to, because mining a lot bigger, my ship and bring it back and forth and sort of ferrying it back to my main base. And I've got like all the constructs of my main base now. And then literally what I do is I set them up like, you're going to build this type of block. This is what I need literally. For my basic floor, I need 720 of these. You're going to build those. I'm just going to set you up say you're building like 2,000. And I'm going to rely on the fact that it takes you so long to build it, I can fly back and forth and keep you supplied with resources to keep going. You don't have enough to do it. Now, the resource container you're using is going to run out, but you will when I come back with more. As I just keep throwing back and forth. You will.
When that asteroid disappears.
Yes, which it has. It's basically disappeared. So I fly back and forth, just filling up my resource bin and so forth, getting it filled up and getting these blocks in so I can start building. So I've started building my capital ship. This created the first rage quit of the game.
All right.
So I mentioned before, like last week, that you have links to your base via these like wireless connections, so you can like access the containers. And one thing I've now found is cool is you can do anything in this containers if you're staying next to it. So if you've got like a fridge full of food, even if you're like if you're not a mile away, you can just eat the food from the fridge automatically. You don't have to be with it. It's like you're stood next to it.
Handy.
So, very handy. Like it's like having like Uber Eats delivered to your player with an actual cyclist, an instant. So what I'd done was this ship's quite long, so it was pushing the edge of like how far I could actually connect, and I managed to trick the game by going like using my little spaceship as like an in between to like sort of extend the Wi-Fi, which sort of worked. Unfortunately, at one point I got attacked and I ran and I got too far out of range. Now, how containers work, you have like your inventory, which appears on your left-hand screen. The containers line the right screen, and you have like your little tool belt at the bottom, which you can put stuff in. And if you want to use stuff, it has to be on your tool belt. Pretty standard game style fare.
Yeah.
And so you need to drag stuff out of the container, put on the tool belt, and it's linked, it's fine. Whilst on its tool belt, it's like it's not in the container, but it counts towards the container's weight. But it's not actually in the container, if that makes sense. It's on your tool belt. But you're fine because you're linked. Because I went out of range, what happens is...
broke.
Well, no, what happens is, when you go
Your
range...
underwear disappeared?
Well, because you're no longer connected to the container, rather than the game going, well, this stuff's on your tool belt, let's just pop it back into the container, and so you ain't got access to it anymore. No.
Whoops.
It drops it on the ground.
Oh, no. And you said that like stuff disappears really quick.
3-minute timer.
Oh, mate, no.
And so it dropped on the ground, and I was like, fuck. And I look, and it's like, I've got like 300 like iron blocks I need for or steel blocks I need for my spaceship. There's 300. That's took a lot of resources to make those 300 blocks.
That's what you get for being clever.
Yeah. And so I'm like, and of course, I can't carry that many because I can carry like 3.
No kidding, mate. These aren't like Lego bricks.
No. And so I try and like bring my sort of like little ship near to me and sort of like try and fill that up a little bit. And I managed to get a few in there, but not many, because it can't hold many either, because although it's big, these are quite... My cargo goes inside my base are a lot bigger and holding a lot more space than this little ship can carry. I was like, shit, I'm starting to panicking. What do I want to do? Because the trouble was, it hadn't just like done like one container, it done like 3 different containers. And they've all got a timer on them. And I'm thinking, shit, what do I do? And I'm panicking because I can't run back and forth quick enough. It's just, I won't be able to do it. So I then sort of like try and fly the ship near me, load up the containers,
started hovering over them console commands.
Flying the ship close to the base as the bare minimum I need to get to the base, so I can like, because when you like open up your container controller, if you're nearby a base, it's actually just a drop down to select what you're nearby. So like you're in your small vessel, you hit the button to bring up your like small vessel's containers, but there'll be a drop down. And if you're near enough your base, you can literally select the base and you can just select the container you want and just move them about. It's a really neat system actually, how you can move stuff about. So I'm desperately trying to get it, but this time is running down, so I can't pick these all up physically fast enough, and I'm going to lose it all. And after valiant effort, and I'm being attacked as well, randomly by creatures of the night, because it's nighttime.
Stress starts building.
And I'm panicking, and of course when you start panicking, you start making mistakes, you end up crashing your spaceship, and you're flying, but luckily spaceships...
Starting to get angrier and angrier.
Yeah. And then the first container disappears, it had 300 steel blocks in it. It's like, fuck this. That was a stupid system. It should have just gone back into the main container. That's what it should have done. So I rage quit. And I had to relaunch, losing 3 hours worth of progress. Because this game only saves on exit unless you manually save.
Oh, wow, really?
There's no autosave. Because trouble is, saving takes like a couple minutes to do because it's so much data.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
there's
because
no
given the
autosave.
amount of stuff that you got, yeah.
Yeah, there's no autosave, so it manually saves on exit. So you can...
Whoops.
So luckily I had saved like 3 hours earlier. This time I was a bit smarter, and I built my ship. Whereas before I basically had gone to one of my base, started and worked away from the base. This time I was like, right, okay, wherever the middle of the ship's going to be, that's going to be next to my base. So effectively I increased the coverage. So that was my base. So I basically started building my ship, and I started thinking, and I showed you photos of my ship in progress. It's big.
Massive.
I mean, it's not. I'm sure it's not the biggest that someone's built, but it's big for me.
It's big. I'm sure it's not the biggest, but pretty big.
Yeah.
Again, Ram's Pornhub categories are right there.
Yeah, it's quite cold at the moment. You get big when it we'll get big when it gets warmer. I mean, Skazz only seen like the start of the middle section. There's going to be 2 sections off either side as well. That's just the middle part. But I'm having quite fun building a ship and so forth. I've had done lots of, but okay. But then only is like I need some certain resources to get like. So I look at my need. I need certain resources, right? Which doesn't exist in the asteroid belt, doesn't exist in my sort of area. So it's okay. Quit my ship of water. I'm going to go fly to all the nearby sort of planets and have a look see round. Because when you land on a planet, it'll tell you what resources are on that planet. So I basically fly to a planet, have a quick look, see the resources I need on there. If it is, I'll have a hunt for them and try and find them so I can mine them. If it's not, then I will move on. So the first couple of systems I went to, couldn't find anything I needed. Lots of stuff that's good, useful, but not what I need in this moment in time. I can't remember
How very American of you.
Yeah. So let's just rewind a little bit. I need to tell you a little bit of his tale.
Oh, okay.
So on the planet I'm on at the moment, I was flying about, and there's another faction, and the trouble was, as I was flying around, some of the points of interest were, instead of like being the neutral grey colour, they were red. Now, years of computer gaming have told me red equals bad.
Red means explosive,
red
usually.
Red means deadly. Red means they're going to kill you. But
red means Tesla coils and mammoth tanks.
Yeah, but at some point, I received a transmission. It said, we'll highlight on the map for you. And it happened to be one of these red places. I thought, okay, let's have a little look. And I get there, and it turns out it's a perfectly friendly faction, which is their colour is red. So I've learned now, red does not equal bad in this game. Excellent. So good, so that's fine. So I learned that.
For now.
So, foreshadowing. So I go on my little spaceship and fly around. Eventually I found a planet that had a bazillion of resources on it. And it had the one I needed. So I started sort of looking around. And I know some of them have got like little red icons near them. So I wonder what they are. So I'm looking around and I come across one of the resources I want. It's like, oh, this is good. And I look at the icon next to it. And the icon says, missile attack drone. And the next thing I see is a plume of smoke heading my direction. And I think, oh fuck. My ship's built up the most weakest blocks in the game. And the next thing I see is seeing the explosion and just seeing me falling out of the cockpit, falling to my death on the ground and dying instantly. My little spaceship is somewhere on that planet, crashed down the ground. So this one I do love the game developers for, because I respawn, because basically I've got options, because I haven't set a respawn point. So the options are either respawn near where you died, which is basically fatal, because it's on a planet I have no way off. I've got no way of leaving, because my spaceship is probably in pieces.
They've nicked it.
Yeah, you can either respawn if you've got a home like location set up. You can respawn there. You can also respawn like at near like neutral factions like clone chamber. So there's like it found me like a near one, but it was on a planet that was like yes, it was on the same system as where I was, but it was again I had no spaceship there, so I had no way to get from there to here without having to like literally start from scratch and build one. Or I could respawn at the like the last tent I stepped at, which happened to be at the planet I originally started on. So I respawned there.
I would have loved to have seen the Ram tries to survive the hostile planet playthrough, like where you've lost your ship, now you got to try and build a new one without getting shot to pieces.
If you start on very hard mode, it dumps you on the ice world, which has got like which you basically, if you don't get shelter immediately, freeze to death.
That's fantastic, mate. Yeah. Because the reason I said it, right, you're like, oh, there's no way I could do it. I couldn't do it. I can go. That just makes me think, like, you played loads of stealth games. You played like Say You're Being Hunted and all that kind of stuff. It's like, you could do this, man.
Yeah, but it's
just treat it like a stealth game.
I'd have to build a base basically immediately because I've got nothing. You start with all you get.
Of course, yeah,
you get like some food and some bandages. That's all you start with. One thing that is I then discovered is actually if you have because you can basically unlock a spacesuit fairly early on. And you could put mods on it. Because I'd when I've been like exploring a planet, I had found like an underground base for the spiders.
RGB.
for the spiders, but this planet is quite high radiation. And I was going down there and I was killing all the spiders and so forth.
Your favourite radioactive spiders.
There are some really big ones as well. There's some really big spiders, but I was keeping my sort of distance away from them as much as I can. And because I had jetpacks, just sort of flying above them and shooting them. Eventually managed to kill them all.
Surprised you weren't setting fire to them with your little jetpack.
I was gradually getting irradiated. Oh, this is a problem I had with my first spaceship. Because the thrusters, they have like... The thrusters have obviously like the pushy end. They also have like an exhaust end. If you don't have that like behind blocks, it dumps all the heat to wherever you are. And my
it's not shielded.
It's not shielded. My first spaceship, I didn't have any shielding inside. All the thrusters were literally just inside, which meant I went to my spaceship with the thrusters switched on. It reached over 300 degrees Celsius.
Very good.
And amazingly, you start to lose health points at that temperature.
Engineering 101, heat has to go somewhere.
Yeah, it turns out shielding's a thing. So
yeah,
who'd have thought it?
Ram got cooked, mate.
Who'd have thought it? So I built my my first ship was basically a mobile cooker when it was switched on.
Fantastic, mate.
So I couldn't have any friends with me; they'd be dead. So
Nicktopia Spaceship Edition.
Yeah. So of course I'm on this planet, and of course I have that issue with the key matrix. You only get one copy. So I did spawn another copy of that because that's bullshit. You can only get one copy of it for the entire game. That's bullshit. There's a process. There's a process to get it, and it should be able to repeat that process.
And then one day you'll find it. You'll find it again and go, motherfucker. Because that'll annoy you because you got 2 of them.
I've got 3 now.
Ram, get the fuck off the console.
So I respawned that. I eventually got back to my sort of home planet. It was quite nice to see my base again. I haven't seen the base in like 15 hours. And I was like,
himself, man, I missed you.
It was like that. I was like, I'm home. And it's still running strong because the planet's got so good sunlight. It's running on solar power only. The generator's basically not done anything at all. It's like, this is handy.
You know, sorry, I just had this random thought. Like you going, fucking, it's like you've just come home from war.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my head went, I wonder if that's what Ram was like when he came back from the high street. Oh, mate, I missed you.
Didn't miss the high street. Yeah, so my base, that's fine. It's just like, that's all right. That's fine. So I sort of get stuff. My other base, I did have some issues where when I have all my constructors running, it is eating through full like mad. To the point, and so I have basically one constructor that's just dedicated to making cans of full. And to make cans of full, you need trees. I'd literally have to deforest like half the area near me to turn into full for the power plants. I could build.
What are you going to do when you run out of trees?
There's lots of trees. I mean, this does sound.
We said that ourselves. I
was going to say
loads of fucking trees.
I was going to say this does feel like very early sort of human civilization. There's plenty of trees. We'll be fine. And then like sort of a year, like 100 years later, it's a barren rock because all life has been extinguished by me.
Where's all my old school Kindles?
Yeah. So, go back to my planet. That was like, of course I could have reloaded that, but I didn't because that was actually an in-game thing. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a bit of bullshit. That was me being cocky and flying up without paying attention to what potentially could be there. That's on me.
Hostile territory, motherfucker.
Yeah. Which is why my new ship is different. Which you didn't see pictures of the replacement ship, but you have seen pictures of my newer ship, which isn't finished yet. Which I'm going to fly back because I'm planning to go back to that. And this one's armored. I've built armor on it. I'm also going to try and get a shield put on it, which I can then. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to find that fucking drone. I'm going to shoot it.
You are planning to go back after this podcast, aren't you?
Maybe. I don't think I'll be able to have enough time to get back to the spot. I need to be finished building the ship yet, which means I need to go find some more iron. So, but I'm great. So it's sent me back, but it's great because but on the plus side, my character is coming on really nicely. I mean, just to give you an idea how much I've been sort of getting into this game, on Monday, I've literally got, you can't see this, but there's literally piles of graph paper behind me We've drawn out different possible layouts for different rooms, working out how much space they're going to take up. How I've worked out like how much space they'll take up, how much power they'll use, how much weight they're going to be.
It's like the old school interactive fiction where you had to like draw the maps and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I'm drawing my own spaceship, and I'm sort of I've planned out like each level of the ship, how it's going to be and how it's going to layer up. And also, it's going to get modified as you actually do in reality, because of course you're going to modify it. But I'm basically
engineering. Next lesson: plan everything.
Yeah, well,
I'm just wing it.
I am basically. I mean, I'm basically, but I'm going to have. It's going to be a nice sort of 3-tier ship, 3 stories at the moment. So I might put an extra story on it. 3 stories at the moment. And I've got like a like sort of like cabins for like me and my friends. No, like proper little like got beds and toilets and showers and stuff in them, which is nice. I've got a medi bay planned. I've got like a cafeteria planned. I've got like a laboratory planned.
For some reason, I just thought you were going to say I've got a Breville. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I've got I've got my little calf. I've got my bridge planned. I've got the engineering all planned out. I've literally in the engineering department, I've actually like painted, because I've just unlocked this texture tool that lets you repaint things. So any block you can paint to whatever you like. So like in the engineering, I've actually painted like doing like hazard walkways to show like where, and then it's like round where when all the things get installed, they'll be round all the things like shows.
I've painted everything hazard walkway color, hazard colors. That's the entire fucking ship. You've built it, Ram. We're all gonna die.
It's gonna be called Nictopia 7. This ship.
I ain't getting on board. No chance.
I'm not gonna give you a choice.
I know what happened in the other places.
I'm gonna fly down and pick you guys up in my little shuttle. Say, go on, lads.
As we then fly up, it's like going alongside Red Dwarf, and you're like, Nictopia? Oh, shit, son.
Yeah. Oh, I did. My other name there was the other name I had for it I was gonna call it the Invincible 3, just to upset people.
Mate.
But yeah, I'm gonna fly. Yeah, so I'm. This is like my next project is to build. I mean, I'm truthfully, I'm sure I could have got here a lot sooner, but I'm a bit of a turtler when it comes to stuff. I like to have something finished before I move on to the next thing. So I like to have my base finished before I move on to the next thing. So whereas I'm sure you can just like do the bare minimum. So I like to have a nice little functioning base first, and then move on to like the spore vessel, get that functioning, then move on to my capital ship and get that functioning. And so yeah, I'm through. Honestly, I literally all I've been doing like every evening is playing this game. It's just my sort of spare time and just play it. I mean, I spent all Saturday playing it, but most of Sunday playing it. Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the weekends coming up where I'll be able to get some more time playing the game. Although once I've got to get all this stuff edited first and then I'll be able to play it. I'm really looking forward to that. So honestly, yeah, fab game, fab game. And some of the things people have made are incredible. I linked Skazz to the just go on the community hub page, look at the screenshots, and see what people have been making. It's insane.
There's some gorgeous stuff there.
Yeah, Skazz mentioned Red Dwarf. I've been thinking a way to make Starbug. So I'm tempted to see if I can make I thought so I can paint it green, because you've got part of the colour, but you can pick like any colour you want. So I'm gonna try. I'm tempted to make Starbug if I can, and sort of paint it green and. Perhaps has like a little shuttle ship and my capital ship.
Yeah.
Might not be like sort of full size of Starbug, but it'll be pretty close. So, but yes, great game. Keep playing it. Buy it.
Does it run on Steam Deck? I can't remember if I asked last time.
I'm going to upset my audio listeners by loading up Steam. And I'll see if it runs on Steam Deck.
Let's be fair, man. You should know by now. This is going to be one of the questions every time.
Yeah. Dead air. Well, that's a nice case.
It comes with it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. If you get the OLED one, it comes with 2 cases.
Why 2?
Because you get a slim case inside.
Oh.
You got the full size and then a slim case.
Oh, it's like one like the rugged case and one's like just a sort of a covering type thing. And we go to home. So I'm currently on 48.1 hours on the scale at the moment.
Proud of you, man.
Store page. It doesn't say Steam Deck because it'd be on the right hand side, wouldn't it? Oh no, it is this. Steam Deck compatibility, playable. With a exclamation mark.
That's fair. Serviceable then. As long as it doesn't say unsupported, you're generally pretty good.
Some functionality is not accessible when using default controller configuration, requiring use of touchscreen or virtual keyboard or community configuration. This game sometimes shows mouse, keyboard, or non-Steam Deck controller icons.
That's fine.
Entering some text requires manually invoking the on-screen keyboard. I like the word invoke. Do you like sort of little rituals?
That's just literally 2 buttons.
Yeah. The game requires manual configuration of graphics settings to perform well on Steam Deck. In-game interface text is legible on Steam Deck.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
One day, if I'm rich, I'll take a crack at it.
Yeah, because it's currently 1675. There's an expansion for it, for 849, that isn't got great ratings. Having said that, nearly every person who's reviewed it just said, I've just bought this to support developers.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's fair in the grand scheme. You know, that's how you know you've got a fucking good game out there.
I mean, this game was last... it looks like it has last... When's its last update? I mean, they last sort of... experimental version update was released August the 23rd. And this game itself was released... I think 2020. So it's just over 4 years old. 5th of August 2020. So they're still updating the game 4 years later. That's good going in my book.
Got a loyal fan base there. As you say, you know, they don't like the extras, but they're paying for it because they want to support the devs. So yeah. I mean, you've got a good product on your hands when people are just like, yeah, man, just have my money.
Yeah.
Which, generally speaking, I mean, you know, if I find a dev that I like, I do that too. I was like, I have no real reason to get this extra stuff, but yeah. I mean, it supports the dev and they've made something I like. So
I'm tempted to get. I am tempted to get No Man's Sky to compare it with.
Just as a note, No Man's Sky is currently on sale on certain platforms. So I don't know if it's on sale on Steam yet.
Oh, I might have a quick look at that. But I'm tempted to.
If you guys have got the old PS5 yet, it's currently on sale for like 15 quid or something like that.
I might have a look because I'm tempted to give it just to compare it because that's a very similar principle. To me, though, this feels like. Obviously, when I last looked at No Man's Sky, was like it just seemed like very empty and very not much going on.
Well, yeah, because when it first came out, there was literally nothing.
No. This just feels like more like what No Man's Sky should have been.
Yeah, which is probably actually more what it is now.
Yeah, I need to have a look. So yeah, I need to have a look. But yeah,
get it done, man. Get it done. Get it done. Get it done.
But yeah, fun game, really good. Buy it. Buy it. Buy it.
Game of the year. Bet you.
Yeah. Oh, I think I'm almost certain at this point. Something you'd have to really work hard. Unless this game I've forgotten about completely, someone had to work very hard to knock this off its top spot. No. Well then.
God damn.
Unless there's anything else from yourself, Skazz, I think it's time for you to wrap up.
It's everything, man.
That's marvellous. Well, thanks everybody for watching us tonight. So you can join us for our next games night, which will be on the 11th of September. Oh dear. We won't play Flight Simulator.
I'll be good. Kind of, maybe. I ain't promising anything.
So come to us on that 11th September at 8:30 GMT +1 here on twitch.tv/RandNerds, on my channel, twitch.tv/SuffolkGram. You can also join us for our next podcast, will be on the 12th of September. Here on youtube.com/RandNerds and twitch.tv/RandNerds. And that's at 6:30, 12th of September, GMT +1. And so thank you guys very much for joining us this evening. So for me, the Suffolk Ram.
Guys,
we'll see you in a fortnight.
Take it easy, guys.